The Great Pyrenees had been bred for exactly this. Not this house specifically, not this baby, not this moment, but something like it. Bred across centuries on the mountainsides in the Pyrenees range to guard livestock, to position themselves between the flock and whatever the mountains sent, to stay when everything else moved, to hold a position until the situation resolved. This was the context that Dmitry Volkov understood about Nadia, his 3-year-old Pyrenees, and it was the context he held on to during the 5 days when nobody in the family could explain what she was doing. His wife Larissa had brought their son Pavel home from the hospital on a Wednesday in November. Nadia had completed her sniff assessment, found the situation acceptable, and taken up a position in the nursery with the precision of something that had already mapped the room. By Thursday morning she was between the crib and the door, and by Thursday evening she was declining to leave that position for anything except food and water. Larissa's mother, visiting from outside Philadelphia, said the dog was jealous. Larissa said she did not think jealousy looked like this. Dmitry said nothing because he was watching and had not yet formed a conclusion. They called a trainer on day 3. The trainer came on day 4, assessed the situation, and said the dog was resource guarding and needed behavioral intervention. Dmitry paid for the consultation and did not implement the recommendation, because something about the trainer's conclusion did not fit the shape of what he was watching. Nadia was not guarding the baby. She was guarding the space between the baby and the door. These were different things, and the difference mattered, and he could not articulate why it mattered, but it did. On day 5, at 9 in the morning, Dmitry got down on his hands and knees next to the crib and put his face near the baseboard along the exterior wall. If you stay for stories about what animals sense before we do, you're in the right place. Subscribe so you don't miss the next one. He smelled nothing specific, but the air near the baseboard was different, not in a way he could name, slightly more of something, or slightly less of something, or a temperature that did not match the air 3 feet above. He stood up. He called an HVAC company. The technician found a crack in the heat exchanger and a partial blockage in the exterior vent. Carbon monoxide was accumulating at floor level in the nursery. The concentration at baseboard height was measurable. The concentration at the height where a standing adult would stand was below detectable threshold. A smoke detector would not have alarmed. An adult standing in the room would not have noticed. A 120-pound dog with a nose calibrated over centuries for exactly this kind of patient. Ground-level vigilance had been at baseboard height every day for 5 days. The technician said, floor-level CO accumulation in a room with a crib. He did not elaborate. He did not need to. Has your pet ever done something that made no sense until it was the only thing that made sense? Tell us in the comments. These stories deserve to be heard. The furnace was replaced. CO detectors were installed at baseboard level in every room. Pavel was moved to the master bedroom for 2 weeks during remediation. Nadia's position in the nursery changed. After the work was done, she still came to the nursery, still occupied her chosen spot, but the urgency was gone. She had stopped pressing against the baseboard. She was, Dmitry thought, satisfied with the outcome. Every guardian deserves to be recognized, even the ones who never asked for anything in return. If stories like this matter to you, subscribe so you never miss the next one. The trainer's invoice is still on the counter. Dmitry has not thrown it away. He keeps it as a reminder that the conclusion that fits the most comfortable framework is not always the conclusion that fits the facts. Nadia knew that from the first day it took him 5 days to catch up. The next story involves a border collie who began circling the same spot in the backyard at the same time every evening, and what a plumber found beneath the surface